Welcome back, everybody. I'm very excited about the second part of a two-part in terms of taking some serious action. All right, so thank you very much for the feedback that we are getting from all of you listening to the Mining Coach and watching it on YouTube. Really some fantastic feedback. I'm also excited about the guests that are coming on the show soon, and there are some really exciting topics coming up for us. But today is all about the second part on taking some serious action. Now, you will recall that last week we spoke about a few things, and I'm just going to quickly recap on that. We firstly managed to talk about when you want to take some serious action, finding your why. Do you want to do that? We said we're going to identify 1 to 3 things that you will diligently do differently, not too many, 1 to 3, that you need to thirdly start what you really want to finish and not really start if you're not serious about finishing it. And even if that finish means the day you die. So that's something that you're going to do for the rest of your life. Then we spoke about enjoying the process of learning and failing. So that learning and failing, very important, that you don't get despondent. And then we spoke about also not letting the fear of failure hold you back. Some of us have got some real fears, and that's why we don't ever start. And that's where we ended up last week. So today we're going to touch on a few more. We're going to just talk about 4 of them. Now, those will be disciplined routines, number 1. Then what about our thoughts? How do our thoughts govern what actions we take? Then enjoying the process of some serious action, and then finally celebrating our successes. All right, so let's dig in. Let's start with it. Now, disciplined routines is not the easiest thing to do. Now, you can imagine that we all go through life with different challenges, and when we decide to take some serious action, it will require that we are disciplined and we follow a disciplined approach. So let's assume that you want to play better golf, as an example. And you're currently sitting on a 24 handicap. Now, for those of us that don't play golf, that's just a measure of how well you play golf, but on the rankings of just normal social golfers, where do you rank? So if you're at 24, that's sort of a high rank, or low rank, you're not that good. And the lower your ranking is, the better player you are. So if you get to a under 10 handicap, so a handicap of 10 and less, so 9, 8, 7, you're a really good golfer. You're well above average. Now let's assume you've just started out, you're a 24 handicap golfer, and you want to improve your golf. You will need some different actions and disciplined actions to improve your golf. An example of that would be that you once a week will go to a putting green and you will do just practice on putting. Once a week, you will go to some sandboxes and you will just chip out of the sand onto a green, and you'll play 100 shots or 120 balls just chipping out of a sandbox onto the green. You may want to include a routine of playing your iron shots. So you go to a driving range and you just play, your iron shots. Then you may want to spend another day or another session on your woods, your driver, your number 1 or 3 wood. Maybe you want to just work on your short game, so anything from 80 meters and less, towards the green. So What that means, if you want to really improve your golf, you're going to have to work on all these areas of playing golf. It's a very technical sport. I love doing triathlon, so for me it's swimming, and there are some swimming routines that I have to do to improve my technical swimming. So you have to do certain routines to get the muscle memory and the brain and the muscles to work together. But disciplined routines will improve your overall performance, whether that is at work, whether that is in life, whether that's in your nutrition and your health and diet, or living a healthy lifestyle, whether that's exercise or doing your hobby. The discipline of doing this week in, week out, day in, day out will transform your performance. There is no doubt about that. If you follow a disciplined routine consistently, you will fundamentally transform whatever you want to achieve. And that's what this is about. It's about action. I was giving the golf example, but I was reading at one stage in my life. I did play, as you can imagine from what I explained, I did play a lot of golf, but I I had a video camera that we used to take videos of the kids. Those days you didn't have the smartphones with the camera on your phone, so you had to have a separate video camera. But I had a tripod, and I used the video camera to record myself with my golf swing. And I was routinely, every week, I would put up the camera, and I would video myself, record myself swinging, and then I would analyze my swing, and then I would go and practice the short game. So I had these disciplined routines of practicing golf, and I was part of a team that played league. So there was a real improvement in my golf game just by following these routines week in, week out. So within a year, I managed to get my handicap significantly lower than, I think it was, anyway, it doesn't really matter what the improvement was. The fact is, I could see the benefit of having these routines that was part of my life that fundamentally changed my golf. Now, in business or in your career, you wanted to set up some routines of serious action that you're going to take. One of those routines can be a visible felt leadership to your teams. You are maybe the general manager, or you're in a manager role, or you're in a senior supervisor role, and you want to get into the disciplined habit of going to the shop floor, visiting your teams, interacting with your teams on a weekly basis, or maybe on a 3 times a week basis. And once you have these disciplined routines, you fundamentally shift performance. You fundamentally, in my case, with visible felt leadership at a mine, it was getting to know the people a lot better, getting to know the names, the faces, the different areas of the mine. It was processing, it was maintenance, it was procurement, it was mining areas, it was it was the finance, even the finance areas. And so what had helped me with disciplined, visible felt leadership and having those routines, for me, it was a Friday morning, I would attend the shift handover meetings. On a Wednesday, I would walk the fields in different areas of the mine. But those routines fundamentally changed my leadership. It fundamentally changed the way I understood the challenges at the mine, and we could make some real good changes at the mine. So I really want to inspire you today to stick to routines and stick to it diligently. It doesn't have to be daily. It may be 3 times a week. It may be once a week. But whatever you want to change, if you can find a routine and be disciplined about that, it will fundamentally shift the game. Okay, right. Next one, thoughts. What about our thoughts? Well, our thoughts, what we think, either positive or negative, will have an impact of what we say and what we do. And what we say and what we do, those behaviors and actions will determine a certain outcome. But it starts with what you think about. So if you constantly think about opportunities, about improvement, what happens is what you think about, what your mind is full of, you actually talk to close friends and family in your inner circle about. What you speak, what you say, what you talk about, you actually start living it with your actions, because it's actually quite difficult to say something with conviction and not do anything about it. Does it make sense to you? It makes a lot of sense to me. But equally so, there's a dark side of what we feed our brains. If we have constant negative thoughts, if we constantly think about the downside of all things and the glass is always half empty, guess what? Your life will be half empty. But if you look at opportunities and your thoughts are, and you're intentional about what you think and what you say, I honestly believe that, and this is, there's a lot written on this. There's science to back this up, that with our words we create and we destroy. And that's just a fact. If we are creative by our thinking and what we think and what we allow to come out of our mouths, that will determine a certain outcome. And I'm very intentional in my own life of what I'm thinking about and how I allow thoughts to change my perception of things. I've just literally yesterday and over the weekend, we had a major issue with a water problem at a property. And it costed us a lot of money to get to where the water problem was and what was the issue. And I had to guard myself that, geez, here we go again. This is costs and we have to fix this. And it was a real problem. It was a big water problem, and we had to, dig up. We actually had to break some exterior walls. One of the rooms, we had to break the tiles, and we ended up finding these water pipes underneath the floor, which is like weird for this type of building. And it was, now you can say one of two things. You can say, gee whiskers, you can deal with this in your mind in two ways. But what I was conscious of the fact was that this is an opportunity to learn. So I didn't allow myself to get all bogged down. I was upset and I was negative about it in the beginning, but after processing that over the last 12 hours, and I'm actually saying this, really, I'm actually talking to myself right now, that I didn't allow myself the negativity to be more than 50%. I saw this, okay, what am I learning from this? How will this change the way I look at property in the future in terms of investment, or my own home in terms of maintenance? And so these things happen. It's life. It's outside of your control in a lot of ways. I didn't know what I didn't know when this property was bought. But now we know. And now you can, take that learning and, learn from it. And, whenever you're faced with a similar challenge, you've gone through the experience. And so what I allowed to think about this process for myself was one that was either positive or negative. And that's our lives. And so our thoughts will, either positive or negative, will affect what we say about a situation, and then it will actually then result in a certain action on your end with words and things that you do that will be either positive or negative. So really consider what you allow in your mind. Okay. All right. That's the second one for today. We've got two more to go. The next one is enjoy the process. Now, when we have decided to take some serious action, I gave the example of playing better golf, or maybe an exercise routine that you want, or you want to change your habits of nutrition and what you eat, living a more healthy lifestyle, which I'm sure you are. You're those people that want to do all of these things. Some of that is not so enjoyable. And some of it does take a bit of grind, but enjoy the process. You're going to refer and reflect on this season in your life with a lot of joy looking back 10 years from now. The process is always more important in terms of the learning than achieving the goal. The process that you go through by taking disciplined action, by changing your thought patterns, by living your purpose, finding your why, by learning and making mistakes, that process is much more important in your learning than achieving the goal at the end of the day. The goal will be great, and you're going to celebrate the goal, and you're going to be proud of yourself that you've achieved this. And you will be, as soon as you achieve that goal, you're going to start setting up the next one, and the next, and the next, and the next. And that's just the way life is. So you as the audience that are listening to this, you are those type of people that want to succeed. You are the high flyers. You are the people, the go-getters that want to achieve. So you will always be setting new goals, and you will be going after new things. But be conscious of the fact that the process must be enjoyed. It's not all about that goal. If you can learn to enjoy the process, it would be so much more fun, and you will not be that hard on yourself. We've got some ambitious goals this year, and I must tell you, there are times. This morning, I struggled getting up this morning. I struggled, taking a cold shower, which I try and do every now and often. That it's good for the body. I really struggle on some days to be motivated, be inspired, but I know it's part of the process. So yes, we've got ambitious goals, and that means some disciplined actions and taking some serious actions and doing things seriously. But I do give myself a break in the way I think about it, that it won't always be perfect. And we are living real lives, that things happen that are outside of your control, and the life is not always fair, and situations happen. But enjoy the process of growing and learning. And that's really what you want to achieve in life. You want to be a better human. You want to be a better partner, a husband, a friend, a colleague, a supervisor, a leader of your team, which leads us to the final one of celebrating your successes. Once you've achieved some improvement, celebrate it. Tap yourself on the shoulder and say, well done, I'm proud of you. Treat yourself like if you are standing outside of yourself and you are the parent of you. What would you say to your child if you are a parent that has achieved something? They are really diligent in trying to achieve and improve something, and you're watching them from the outside, seeing the effort they put in. You can see they're trying. You can see they're living a disciplined life. You can see that they are failing, but they're picking themselves up. They are, having these disciplined routines and habits that they are following. But it's not always perfect. What would you tell that child of yours? You would motivate them. You would say to him, it's not that bad, and you would celebrate with them. You'll buy them an ice cream every now and then, or just give them a high five, and you will celebrate with them what they've achieved. along this journey because you're looking from the outside in. Shouldn't we do the same with ourselves, looking from the outside in and giving ourselves a pat on the back and say, Christo, well done. That's really some good work that you've done here. And look at where you've come from. Look at what it was 3 months ago. Look at you now. Celebrate your successes. Don't be too hard on yourself. And you will enjoy the process of learning and improving. And what we are talking about today, some serious action. We have a lot of people that, in closure, as we wrap up, we have a lot of people that procrastinate. They don't actually start to do something. They think about it a lot. They overthink it. They think, along this journey, and they realize, I'm never going to climb this Kilimanjaro mountain. I'm never going to climb the Himalayas, or whatever peak you want to summit. But the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And maybe, can you just take one step? Can you take 2 steps? Can you take 3 steps? And we are people of action. And so I want you to be inspired by the fact that you can take some serious action. You can do it. Get going, discipline yourself. And so to summarize for today, find those disciplined routines that you can do every day or every week or every third day. Find that routine, find that habit that you can commit to. Manage your thoughts carefully. Allow those positive thoughts to drive your process. Enjoy the process of learning and growing, and celebrate the successes along the way. Celebrate the progress. That's it for today. I'm having lots of fun with you. Thank you for the feedback. If this means something to you, let's do a bit of paying it forward by sharing your learning, sharing your growth with others, referring them to the podcast, and let's help a younger version of ourselves along the way. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your mining. Cheers.